Australia has one of the highest rates of allergies in the world. It was thought our increased sensitivity was caused by reduced exposure to infections and bugs compared to previous generations. But now it's believed that we're not spending enough time out in nature, where we're exposed to a diverse range of good bacteria. They're known as microbes. Here's Emily Flies from the University of Tasmania with more. So Emily, what is it about being in nature that can protect us then against allergies?
Well, hi, Roz. So I'm an urban health ecologist, and I put out a paper last year identifying urban-associated diseases, or the diseases that occur at higher rates in cities. Now, allergies and asthma are one of the strongest correlations with cities that we know about, and the rates of allergies and asthma have been increasing pretty substantially over the last couple of decades. So my conversation article just out on Friday examined some of the reasons for that and what that has to do with the so-called hygiene hypothesis.
So what is that hypothesis?
So that's this idea that humans have become too sterile a society, that we are no longer exposed to enough dirt as kids, and that's contributing to allergies and asthma. But as I lay out in the conversation article, that's not entirely true. And I have two boys in daycare, so I hear this a lot, that infections, childhood infections, make their immune system stronger. But actually, some viral infections that are common in childhood increase your rates of getting asthma for predisposed kids. So what we're seeing is it's not really exposure to the human infecting bacteria or viruses, the ones that make us sick. Rather, it's exposure to a diversity of microbes that helps train our immune system how to differentiate the good from the bad.
So what are those good microbes then that you find in nature?
So that's a good question. Some studies are identifying certain taxa or groups of bacteria. Others are identifying specific bacteria that seem to benefit the immune system and how it functions. But the bigger picture trend is that just exposure to a diversity is really good for us, because it shows the immune system kind of all the variety of microbes that are out there, and that allows the immune system to differentiate between the ones that are dangerous and could harm us and the ones that actually can benefit us.
So what then, Emily, are the implications of your research for children who live in urban environments, which are most kids, after all?
Well, it suggests that we need to interact with nature, and most of us know that nature makes us feel good. So we're just starting to identify why that is and what that has to do with microbial exposure. So getting kids outside, getting them playing in the garden with dirt, just going for hikes out in nature or picnics. But I think especially with the current pandemic, with the coronavirus, it's important to differentiate that it's not hygiene that's bad for us. It's really important for people to still be washing their hands and to take antibiotics when necessary and get vaccinations, and sanitation is really good for us. It's just that nature is also good for us, and kids who grow up in cities often don't have exposure to forests and to grasslands. So if you can bring your kids to the park or get them out into wilderness areas, that's really good for their health.
So can you desensitize kids by making them spend more time in green places? And also, what would happen to kids who have hay fever, have an allergy to pollen?
Yeah, so that's a good point. So urban green spaces need to be well designed so that they're not causing problems with allergies and hay fever in particular. Particularly allergenic species shouldn't be planted in our green spaces. So that's an important part for urban planners. But for kids, especially if they can get out into green spaces in the early years, within the first year of their life, is really important in shaping how their immune system will react the rest of their lives. If you can take them out to farms and to forests, whether they're in the city or on the outskirts of the city, that's going to do them good.
How much does diet play a role in allergies, Emily?
Well, so we're still learning. So diet shapes our microbiome, so the bacteria and protozoans and fungi and things that live in our gut, and we now know that plays an important role in how our immune system learns and functions the rest of our life. So diet plays a role in that. And we know that other components of diet, like eating fermented foods and things like, kombucha and sauerkraut, and breastfeeding as important part of the diet for infants up to at least 6 months and hopefully to a year. Those are good things that can help kids develop healthier in those early years.
Emily Flies, thank you.
Thanks.